card with some new goodies from the upcoming online exclusives release that will be happening on November 7th for customers. So demonstrators can pre-order these. And so of course, I grabbed them because that's what I do. I do like to get all the new things and show them to you. So just did a little of that today, and I'm moving my screen around a little bit here, trying to get things a little more centered and hopefully kind of straight so that you're not looking at it all crazy crooked all day. So, all right. So this is the card we're going to be making, and it's actually really quick and easy. Most of it is done by a beautiful designer series paper that is available, that actually will be available for everybody to order starting on November 7th. So we'll start with the stamp set, and today this is the Garden Meadow stamp set, and it's photopolymer, so easy to stamp with. It's clear, you can see through it and all that good stuff. And got some cute little images in it. Love the garden look. Hey, Drew and Pam and Karen and Mary. I was starting to wonder if maybe I was going to be here all by myself. It was awfully quiet when I started. So, and Mary Ruth is here as well. So thanks for hopping in, everybody. So again, this is the card we're going to be making. This is the stamp set. Again, this is part of the online exclusives, and Stampin' Up! Is releasing these a couple times a year. They're going to bring them out, and obviously, as the name implies, they're online exclusives, so they're not in any catalog. They're not tied to any catalog. They'll kind of come and go throughout the year, and this is the next batch, or some of the next batch that's coming up soon here. So I see Jeanette and Debbie and Deborah and Jean. So yay, thanks everybody for hopping in. So this is a stamp set. It is bundled with some dies that are really cool, and I love them. Hey, Connie, thanks for joining. So there's this little archway that actually cuts, on my card, I used it to cut a frame around it. You can also use it to cut the center out of things as well, so it adds this cool little score line on either the inside or the outside, and I'll show you because we're going to cut it. So I'll show you what it looks like on both sides of it. This one, there are two, this is actually two dies, so there's the outline of the gate, or the inside, the kind of just like a thinner lined gate, or whatever you want to call it. There's probably an official word, metal gate, I don't know, a smaller gate that you can die cut here. This one cuts out kind of a grass look. This one looks like shrubs or grass. This one's like a hill, so you can kind of do some layering up in the background if you wanted to create a little meadow scene. There are dies that cut out all of the stamped images. So yeah, it's a great die set. A great bundle, actually, and the paper with it is absolutely beautiful. So, so yeah, if you haven't seen the paper, that I did a video on Friday, and it's unboxing of the upcoming online exclusives, I think is the title of it. So you can see all the paper in there, and you definitely should go check it out because it's absolutely beautiful. All right, a couple other things that I used on this card. The Nested Essentials dies. I used the second from the smallest of the little banner dies here to cut out my sentiment. And I also used the Timber 3D embossing folder. So this is one that kind of has a wood grain look to it. And again, one of my favorite ones. I use it all the time. So hey, Marilyn and Kathy and Pam and Roberta and Karen, if I haven't said hi, and Carol, thanks everybody for hopping in. Yeah, and I think that's about it for the stuff I used. It's actually a pretty, like I said, it's pretty quick and easy. Just a little designer paper, a couple stamped images, a little coloring, and it's done. So a couple of reminders before we get going. Free shipping is going on right now from Stampin' Up! For any orders of $75 or greater between now and October 11th, which is tomorrow, Wednesday, October 11th, at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time. So calculate that out to whatever time zone you're in. Get your orders put in, and you'll get free shipping on an order of $75 or greater. So if you want a really great deal, that's actually an excellent deal because you get 11% off. So a really good deal. Definitely get your orders put in before the end of the day tomorrow to get free shipping. Online exclusives, I'm showing you quite a few of those today, but there are some new ones that are coming up on November 7th. There are currently some online exclusives that are holiday related out there, so go check those out while you're putting in your free shipping order. Make sure you don't miss out on any of those good things. So as I've just, like I said, we're going to be playing with most of this today, the Meandering Meadow Suite Collection, and then the Fluffiest Friends Bundle. These are just some of the items that are going to come out for the November 7th release of online exclusives. There will be other things. This is all that we were able to pre-order. So, also right now going on, there is a really, really, really good deal. If you are not a demonstrator right now, you should be. Come join us because there's a really great deal for Stampin' Up's 35th anniversary. They have two different kit options. You can either purchase the kit for 35% off a discounted price, or you can get 35% additional merchandise in your kit. So the kit is normally $99, and you pay tax on that. It ships for free, and you get to pick $125 worth of merchandise. So that's the normal kit. With this deal that they've got going on for the month of October, if you join and choose the 35% off kit, you still get to pick $125 worth of merchandise. It still ships for free. You're still going to get your business products, but it's only going to cost you $64.35, which is a really good deal. Or if you choose to do the 35% more product in your starter kit, you still pay the $99. It ships for free, pay tax on the $99 if that applies in your area, and you get to pick $168.75 worth of merchandise in your starter kit, which is an awesome deal. So anyway, ships for free, can't get any better than that. Once you join, you get at least a 20% discount on anything that you order. You get to be part of our little group, our team, and I think we're pretty awesome. And yeah, so let me know if you have any questions on that. One thing additionally that Stampin' Up! Is doing is they are also registering you automatically for the Onstage at Home event, which is a demonstrator-only event that will be happening in November. So that's an additional $77 value that you're getting for free if you join during the month of October. So there, I think I said it all. All right. And then don't forget, the Stampin' Up! Still has these special release designer series papers. They're out there in the online exclusives. They are beautiful. So if you haven't seen them yet, go take a peek again out in the online exclusives. You can get them now, again, as part of your free shipping order. So let me know if you have questions about any of that. Details are all on my blog, which is stampwithamyk.com. Okay, after all that yakking, let's get going on the card. I did a crumb cake card base. You could really pick any of your favorite colors. This paper has a whole pile of colors in it, obviously, as you can see. I just picked crumb cake because I was going to do a crumb cake frame, so I figured I'd coordinate the card base to it, but you could use whatever color you want. I have this as cut as a 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2 across the top, but this card you can definitely do as a side fold card if you prefer the 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 card bases scored at 4 1/4. You can do that too. So whatever your favorite way to fold the card is, you can do that. I like the top fold, so that's why I do it. This is the piece of designer series paper from the Meandering Meadows designer series paper pack, and it's beautiful. And it's slightly different than the one that I put on my card front. I figured it'd be kind of fun to do, mix it up and use a couple different patterns on here so you could see what a couple of them looked like. The back sides of this paper, it's kind of nice because they're a little more on the neutral side. So this one's obviously green. I can't remember what color that one was. Maybe pink. I don't know. I can't remember. So anyhow, so it's just, you know, the beautiful watercolored look on, or chalk pastel look. I don't know what the term is for it, but impressionist, I don't know. I'm sure there's some term. But the beautiful art on one side and then a little neutral on the other. So these are easy to layer up and use. And again, this Meandering Meadows paper is a 6x6 pack, so it's 48 sheets. You get 4 of each design. And yeah, it'll be available on November 7th for everybody to order. And you can also, when I was yakking about the starter kit, this is one of those things that you can add to your demonstrator starter kit. Since it's available for pre-order for demonstrators, you can add it to your starter kit and get it early. So yay for that. So the paper is outstanding. I mean, if you don't love the stamp set and whatever, okay, fine. I don't know if we can be friends, but but no, I'm just kidding. But the paper is absolutely beautiful. So, all right, so I just took that. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 and just chopped a piece of the designer series paper down to the card front size, glued it on with multi-purpose liquid glue. So next thing I'm going to do is I've got a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 crumb cake cardstock. And I'm going to grab this little die, which is sort of the kind of arched frame of this is from the Garden Meadow dies. And again, these dies and the stamp set will be available on November 7th as well. And I'm just going to run this through the die cutting machine. So I'll show you what both pieces look like when it comes out the other end. So when I was saying that you can use either side of the frame. Like I said, I use the outside of the frame, so you can see it adds the little dashed lines around the outside edge of the frame. Or if you wanted to, layer up something on the inside, you can definitely cut and use this as an inside piece as well. There's a sample in on one of the flyers that actually they cut the designer paper with this frame and use the inside piece, and it's really pretty. So you can use it either way. So I'm going to set that aside for another project. Let me get the dies out of the way here. And then next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to emboss this with the Timber 3D embossing folder. So if you don't know this about Stampin' Up! Folders, most of them have a little line that runs across right here on the bottom of the folder. And if you line up the edge of your paper with that line, then you know that you'll have it in the embossing folder straight. Not that it really matters a great deal with this one, because it's kind of, it's not like a straight line, but that will help you to line it up straight, and you won't end up with it turned crazy. So the embossing and the arch die is pretty awesome. So I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. I'm going to emboss it quick, and I will show you the sandwich. Because this is a 3D embossing folder, it's a thick one. So you're going to use your base plate, whatever your die cutting machine is, base plate with no tabs, nothing on the top of it. And then you're going to use the specialty plate, which this comes with the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, if you have one of those. You'll run it through this way. If you don't have a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you can purchase this plate. It's called the specialty plate. It's in the Stampin' Up! Store, and I think it's $12, $12.50, somewhere in that range. So it's definitely a good deal if you like the 3D embossing folders like I do. It makes them super, super easy to use. All right, gonna go emboss this. And I almost threw the entire plate on the floor, which would have been a huge clang because I have wood floors in here, so it would have been really loud. So I was trying not to do that. All right, so we have got our little die cut, and it's now embossed piece of cardstock here, a little frame that I'm going to put around the front of my paper here. So it's $11. Okay, I don't know why I was thinking it was more than that, but yay, it's cheaper than what I thought it was. So I do chop my Stampin' Dimensionals up into half-size pieces if you don't love that. You can use whole dimensionals. Nobody, you get to make up your own rules when you stamp. I like the half ones because I feel like they fit places better than the whole ones do. But if you don't love them, you don't have to use them. You get to use whatever you want. So I'm going to stick quite a few dimensionals on here, as you probably are noticing, just because it's a frame. And I want to make sure that I have enough of them to kind of hold the frame up so it doesn't kind of sag and look not as nice as it could. So take me a second to pull all the backs off of these. Hopefully y'all are enjoying your day. It's definitely cooling off and turning fall here in New Jersey. We had kind of some storms and things come through over the weekend, and it cooled off in a big hurry because we were like 80 degrees or some crazy thing last week. So, all right, the only difficult part of the card is trying to get it lined up and centered, and it's really not even that difficult. And trust me, it's easier if you don't have a camera between you and what you're working on, but I think we can still make it work. So there we go. So we've got that kind of the little archway looking onto the meadow scene. All right, next up, we're going to do a little stamping, finally. I'm going to pull out the gate image, the tall flowers, and the small flowers from the Garden Meadow stamp set. And we are going to ink that with Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And there is sort of an up and a down on this gate, and I'll show you in a second how you tell which one's up and which one's down. Not that it really matters for the design that I'm doing because it's mostly covered anyway. But if you want to make sure that you've got it stamped the right way around. So the bottom side has down here what looks like a little bit of dirt around the edge of the gate. So that's how you can tell the difference between what's up and what's down if you're like me and struggle with things like that. So, all right, stamp the little flower image on here twice. And then small flower image twice. And then we're going to do a little coloring. I probably should have done one set of those ahead, but I did not. So, all right, let's start with crumb cake and copper clay. Crumb cake is mostly what I use for the gate. So, sun is shining today and 40, yeah, it was chilly. The sun's shining here today in New Jersey as well, but yeah, it was chilly this morning. We were probably right around that same temperature. I know I went outside, and I was glad I had a little jacket on taking my daughter out to the bus this morning. So, I am starting with light crumb cake. Stampin' Blends marker, And I'm just coloring in again quickly, not spending a lot of time making sure that everything is filled in completely because I'm going to be doing some blending over the top of it. Oh, almost forgot to do the little back piece here. So just coloring in. Then I'm going to come back in with a little dark crumb cake. And we'll put a little along the top there, kind of fill in quite a bit of the back here, a little down the edge here, and then a little along sort of each of the edges over here where I feel like there might be a little shadow. All right. And then maybe a little bit down here towards the bottom on each side. There we go. And then, hey, thanks for hopping in. Glad you're joining. So, all right. And then I'm going to take my light crumb cake and come back in and just going to pull the ink across a little, the dark ink, so that it blends it just a touch. Again, I'm not an excellent person at coloring, so I just do it. I just color until I think it looks good to me, and then I stop. So I don't really have any special way of coloring anything. I usually prefer to start with the light, add the dark, and then come back in with the light because I find that it's easier to add more layers of color on than it is to try to take the color off after the fact when I've colored and it's too dark and I don't like it and that sort of thing. So I usually start and tend to do lighter color first and then come back in and add in layers of color. All right, then we're going to go do the other side of the gate. Same thing over here where I'm just laying on the light crumb cake Stampin' Blends marker, just coloring the whole thing up. And I can see I've got Stampin' dimensionals that are sitting right underneath my right arm, and I'm waiting to have those go flying everywhere because I just set my arm on top of them. So, all right, I'm going to grab the dark crumb cake. And again, just come back in and sort of put the little bit of the dark color in the same places on the gate where I had on the other one. A little bit up the top, down the bottom, along the edges. Just like that. A little along the top here, a little along the top here. And then close that up and grab my light Stampin' Blends crumb cake marker again and blend it together a little bit. And I do love coloring with Stampin' Blends because it makes it really, really easy. I'm not, watercoloring is okay. I can do it if I have to, but I do like using the blends because they're quick and easy. They dry quickly, don't have to worry about, smearing things too much. All right. Last thing I'm going to do on the gate is I've got copper clay light Stampin' Blends marker, and I'm just going to color in the little hinges on the gate. I debated about what color to do those, and then I thought, well, I wanted it to look kind of rustic and look old and rusty, so I figured the copper would work. All right, and then we're going to color in the small flower image here, and I'm going to grab, I've got Shaded Spruce and my dark Daffodil Delight Stampin' Blends marker, and coloring in the flowers here first. Just quickly adding a little color. Technically, the yellow in the Designer Series paper is crushed curry, which I figured the dark Stampin' Blends, or the dark Daffodil Delight Stampin' Blends marker is close to crushed curry. It's not the exact same color, but it's close. So that was sort of why I went with that one. And then I'm just going to take my light Shaded Spruce, add a little bit, just kind of tracing over some of the lines that are already there. Dark Shaded Spruce, come in and add a few little pieces of dark. Again, not really doing a whole lot of blending or any difficult coloring with that. And those are done. And then I'm going to grab this should be light crumb cake again here, and just color in, kind of scratch over the top of the dirt and fill a little bit of that in. Then I'm going to go to work on the taller flowers here. So I've got Melon Mambo. Again, I'm going to start with the light and color in the little flower image. And what I love about these kind of hand-drawn look flowers is that you really don't have to stay very nicely within the lines when you color them. You can kind of just scratch the color on, which is usually what I do. Again, I've got my light Melon Mambo that I'm starting with, adding the color. Then I'm going to come back with the dark. And Mary's something about a new gate look. I'll have to go back and read her comment in a second. All right, just added a little bit of dark. I think we're going to call that good on the Melon Mambo. Oh, you try to make your gate look new. I don't know. See, I was trying to go for the old look, so because I'm an old lady. All right, coming back in with the light shaded spruce to color the leaves on the larger flowers, and just kind of scratching over the top of the grass image down below. All right, again, using light shaded spruce to start with. Yep, I like the little dot. Oh, I almost grabbed the wrong color here because I was busy looking and yakking and not paying attention. Almost colored in crumb cake on the top of the flowers. That might have been not been quite as pretty as I wanted it to be. All right, so just went in and add a little bit of the dark shaded spruce. And then I'm going to come back over the leaves just a little and make sure that I get everything colored in. Because I can see I missed a couple spots here, so I just want to fill in out to the ends of the leaves. And then I'm going to grab the light crumb cake and again just kind of scratch in over the top of the dirt image there. And that's all really for the coloring. Now just to die cut them quickly. So let me show you the dies that I'm using here. So I've got this one for the gate. And again, this one is not, did I put it on there upside down? Yes, I put it on there upside down. I was getting ready to say it's not hard to tell which way it goes as I laid it on here upside down. So again, you've got your gate that's got the little dirt pieces down here. These are the little dirt piece die cut sides. So this is the bottom of the die. So you're just going to lay it right over the top, line up the little dents in your gate, and you're set with that one. And then there are the taller flower die cuts and the small flower die cuts. So I'm going to go run these through the die cutting machine. I'll be right back in 1 second. Hoping to get them done mostly in the first pass. Ooh, almost had it. Ooh, should have got my Post-it notes out. All right. So there's our gate. And one of the little flowers and one of the bigger flowers. And I'm going to put that die back before I lose track of it. Cut out the last two sets of flowers here. All right. Sure, I'm going to cut them out quick. All right, there we go. Got those cut out. I'm going to put the dies back on the sheet here before I lose track of everything. Okay, and I'm going to start assembling my kind of the scene on the card front. So I've got the little gate die cut. So, oh, thanks, Simon. I appreciate that. So I love the fall theme stuff too. So, all right, so I've got my gate. And as you can see on my card, there are two little gates here. And they kind of open a little. I didn't adhere down the flaps on the gate. So if you really wanted to do it, you could kind of really crank the gates open, but I didn't. So I'm going to take this and just chop the middle of the gate. Phew, that's like the extent of my fussy cutting skills. So there you go. So I'm going to take a couple Stampin' Dimensionals. Whoop, I moved that one a little too far over. There we go. I'm going to take a couple more Stampin' Dimensionals and stick those on the other gate. And we're going to pick the backing off these, throw them in my dimensional pile over here. And then I'm going to come back over to my card front, and I sort of want to, layer it up so that there's a little bit of a gap between the gates, but not a huge gap. So just wanted to look like you're kind of open, a little bit open, getting ready to walk in the gate. So that was the look I was going for. And it doesn't matter really that these don't line up perfectly on the edge. If you wanted to, you could slide them out a little bit further. I didn't necessarily care about that because I knew I was going to be sticking some flowers right over the top of it so nobody would see that it didn't match up perfectly. So I've got some mini glue dots here, and we're going to stick a couple of those on the back of the larger flower. And then I'm going to take that and, like I said, just kind of layer it right over the top of the gate here so that nobody can see that there's a little gap that between the papers. All right. Oh, thanks, Mary. I appreciate that. Glad you're liking it. So it's like I said, it's really easy to create something pretty with this because, you know, the the paper and the dies do all the work. I just put a couple layers on and it was done. All right, so I've got my littler flower, and again, just taking a little glue dot and sticking that on the card front right over the top of the larger flowers. So we kind of got the you know, the little gate, little entrance into the meadow going here. Next thing I'm going to do is I've got a piece of fresh freesia cardstock, and I've got the little Hello Sentiment Versamark ink. We're going to stamp that in because we're going to heat emboss it, so it's going to get a little loud here for a second. So inking it up well with Versamark, stamping it here on the fresh freesia cardstock, throwing the lid to my Versamark around, and then I'm going to grab my gold embossing powder. This is from the Metallics embossing powders. It is a 3-pack set that you get, so you get silver, gold, and copper all in one container or one set when you order the Metallics embossing powders. So, all right. Sprinkle that on. Looks like we need a little bit more on the H, maybe. There we go. I think we got it good. And I'm going to close this up before I turn on the heat tool and end up with embossing powder flying everywhere. So the Stampin' Up! Heat tool has 2 settings on it. There's a level 1 setting for drying. So if you're doing something like watercoloring and want to speed that process up a little bit, you can use the level 1 setting. Or if you're doing what I'm doing, which is heat embossing, there's a level 2 setting. So it'll get a little bit hotter that way and actually emboss the sentiment or image or whatever it is that you're doing. But it does take just a second for the heat tool to get warm enough to emboss, so that's why I kind of have it pointed off into space, letting it heat up. And now I'm going to turn it towards my sentiment and let it start doing its magic, where once it starts turning shiny and smooth, that means that it's done embossing. So you want to keep the heat tool moving along so you don't burn it, because you can. And yep, I've done it before. So, all right, so our sentiment's all done here. Let me grab my dies. These are the Nested Essentials dies. These are in the current annual catalog, and I'm going to grab the kind of the second from the smallest of the little banner dies, and we're just going to run this through the die cutting machine, so I'll be right back. All right, get these dies out of the way here. Then I'm going to grab a glue dot and stick it on this side of the banner because it's going to go over the top of my frame there, and a couple little Stampin' dimensionals to put on the other side, so that will keep the banner end of the sentiment kind of up and off the card front. So let me grab my glue dots here, and we'll stick a couple of those here on the back of this. There we go. So kind of tried to line those up on the, would be the left-hand side, and then I've got my dimensionals over towards the right. And then I'm just going to take that and try to line it up fairly straight here over the top of my Meadow image. Again, you can go higher, lower, whatever it is, depending on what you know, where you want it to land on your card. And if there's something, depending on which paper you use, you may want to move it up or down just a little bit, just so you know you're not covering up a tree or something like that that you don't want covered up. So last thing on the card front, this is also part of the Meandering Meadows suite. These are the adhesive-backed dragonflies and birds. And there are 2 different birds and then the little dragonflies, and they're gold, and they are super flat, which I absolutely love, and self-adhesive. So the 2 things that I love, flat, self-adhesive, for anything you put on a card, definitely yes. So, all right, so I'm going to grab one of the larger birds. We're going to put that bird up here, and then the littler bird, put that one down a little closer to the sentiment, maybe. Yep, like that. So there we go. We got our two little birds floating in the meadow. And that's it for the card front. So super easy, just a Stampin' Stampin' Dimensionals. Yeah, those were on there too. But just a little designer series paper, a little bit of Stampin', and the card is really all done for you. So super easy. Inside of the card, also kept that pretty simple. I've got the larger flower image and a piece of basic white cardstock. Just going to ink that up and stamp it here on the lower left of the basic white panel. And then grab the same markers that I used earlier, Shaded Spruce, Light Crumb Cake, and then Melon Mambo, and do a couple little quick scratches of color on the inside of this. And then we're going to be all done. So all the details for this card will be posted on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. When the blog post goes live, I will link up to it in the description of the video, so you can go back and find all the details. I'll have a printable PDF tutorial and all that good stuff out there, so you can go find out everything, how you make it, stuff that I used, cardstock cuts, and all that good stuff. So, and then I've got, this is light shaded spruce that I'm using to color in the leaves. And again, just going to do that where I scratched over the grass image a little bit. Then I've got dark shaded spruce, adding a little bit of color to the leaves. And again, just sort of coloring a little bit over the top of the grass image. Then I've got my light crumb cake, and we're just going to color over a little bit of the dirt. And I may grab my light shaded spruce and just do a little bit of blending on these and make sure I've got the leaves all colored in. And that's it. Let me stick this on the inside of the card with a little bit of Stampin' Seal, and we'll be all done. So thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate you being here and spending a little bit of Tuesday. I will plan to be back around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Friday, out here on YouTube again, doing another little quick live. Hopefully something fun and new. All right, whoop, got to grab the bone folder, slide it across the top, and that's it. So 2 similar cards, just a little different scene. And there are tons of different scenes that you can pick from in the Meandering Meadows paper pack. Again, it's a 6x6 pack of paper. And again, all this will be available starting on November 7th for everybody to order. Or if you join as a demonstrator between now and then, you can either pick it up in your starter kit or you can pre-order it. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have questions about joining, about the card, anything at all. I'm happy to answer. So I will plan to see you all on Friday around 2 o'clock Eastern time. And yeah, that's it. We will